understand now earlier, just before we started, that you've done a poll with your patients today regarding the topic of whether beauty is more than skin deep. Would you like to share some of those findings with us?
Yeah. So this morning, my social media is mostly about my kids actually. Then somebody told me, no, you should use the digital media, social media to discuss, to have discussion. That's what it's for. I said, okay, let's try. My first question is beauty skin deep. And I had a few replies, and they were all very interesting perspective for today's chat.
Okay.
One of the reply was, no, beauty is not skin deep. Beauty is also about attitude, your personality. Um, and I found that very interesting. From a employer's point of view, when I do an interview, there will be people who look better than others, right? But what actually leaves an impression after the interview is always the person's attitude and personality. So that was a good point made. Beauty is also about your lifestyle, about your diet, how you radiate from in to out because of lifestyle and diet. And I replied, I told her, I said, yeah, I totally agree with you. If a person is eating badly, for example, having 3 cans of Coke a day instead of 3 proper meals, they will look terrible. They will probably be very tired as well. And of course, tiredness is linked to sleep, right? If somebody's having 7 hours of sleep versus 2 hours of sleep, they will look very different. So lifestyle and diet does make a very big difference in your inner radiance.
Lina, you've been writing about beauty for a while and other things as well. What's your take on beauty and whether it's just a superficial thing?
I actually looked up the word beauty in the dictionary. The definition is any shape, form of or color that is pleasing to the sight. I think that's a very surface definition of the word. To me, I would link beauty to the director George Cukor. He was the Academy Award winner for Best Director for the movie My Fair Lady. And in a documentary, he actually was trying to portray that, you know, when an actor tries to emote, he didn't use any words. He just used this gesture. So to me, that captures the spirit and essence of beauty that probably cannot be defined, but can be felt by the other person.
Okay. Pebbles, as a student of psychology, what's your take on that?
I definitely agree with the points made so far about beauty being more than skin deep. I mean, because it's like what I would like to call it. There's always like a kind of vibe that you feel when you find someone attractive or not. And I think it's quite strange. Like we use beauty to like describe, like you can say like a cup is beautiful or something, like something looks beautiful. I think that's one aspect of beauty that we can talk about today. But definitely, I think personality and how you portray yourself, the things you do, how you interact with people definitely make an impact, especially on a psychological kind of view. If you want to look into that, yeah, it's part of like attraction and how, because we are social creatures, right? So yeah, interactions and stuff definitely play a part.
Well, we're less social these days, I think, but yeah, generally we still are social. But so Pebbles, you know, when you've finished all your studies and you've got your masters and you're thinking of getting out there in the working world, how would you approach that? I mean, when it comes to job interviews, right, for instance, what would your take be in terms of connecting in the beauty space with your interviewer or potential employer?
Let's say you are like applying for like a modeling job, right? I would definitely say like in that case, superficial beauty would be kind of more, not really more important, but people would look into it more versus like if I'm applying for like a office job, let's say, right? People would tend to look more into like how organized you are or like how you present yourself more. Yeah.
So Yanni, when you've been dealing with patients who come in for whatever treatment they may be coming in for, what's the level of self-confidence you see in them? Is the lack of self-confidence a factor in them wanting to do certain things?
It becomes very difficult when you find yourself not beautiful. And I think it's not helping. I think COVID, the Zoom, the FaceTime, we are spending time looking at ourselves more. Sometimes we are forced to do it. So for example, I spend very little time looking at myself like that. And then suddenly I'm sitting here and looking at myself straight on for the last 15 minutes. And if I was a critical person, I'll start to find flaws. So I would divide finding yourself not beautiful into like 3 categories in my patient. When they come in, I'll know immediately if they fall under A category. Their skin is not healthy. They have acne, they have pigmentation, their skin is too dry, their skin is too red, their skin is too black. Every color can happen on the skin to anybody. And it's something that they have to hide. So maybe they have to use concealer, or they have to use bangs, something hair shape, hair, whatever to cover. And sometimes during this time, you spend 3 months at home with no makeup on, you start to see it for real. Like, oh, I really have bad skin, and it bothers them. So something that you can see all the time, it does, is like ramification. It can come again and again to your brain. I have acne. And of course, it will affect them if they have acne scars, it will affect them more. And it will affect their self-esteem, how they feel people look at them. Then it becomes a negative cycle of self-opinion. So somebody come in, their skin is not healthy. They need help. Category number 2, they are in the middle age range, and they are starting to feel signs of aging. And somebody who is young is beautiful. You look at a 5-year-old, whether it's a round face, small face, tall or short 5-year-old, they are all cute, they're all beautiful because they're young. So when they start noticing signs of aging, they start to become worried, and that affects their self-esteem. If they have lost a job, it will be even worse, because I'm 45 and I'm going for a job interview with a 35 and I look like a 50. Aging is something that you cannot really hide, and it's something that is, again, a negative cycle, right? So can I do this? Should I go for the course? Should I go to study? Should I go find a new job? Should I go for that promotion? But and already older. But we know our lifespan is about 87 for female, 83 for men. So 45 is in the middle. You have more than enough time. So sometimes they come in to get that little bit of a boost, or make them look a bit more energetic, a bit more youthful. And then the last category is the category where everybody perceives beauty. I want to have the sharpest nose or the sharpest chin. And if I have a very sharp chin or a very sharp nose, then I'll look very defined, and I'll look very good and very beautiful. And I always draw this analogy to the short, tall gentleman pay. A shorter man will have less opportunity than a taller man in terms of corporate ladder. So there is a perspective that if I look better, I will get a better job, or I get better partner, stuff like that.
If you were to apportion ratios to the type A, B, and C, what would the numbers be roughly?
A would be 50%. B would be 30%.
Okay.
And 30 to, sometimes the unhealthy skin will move on to the anti-aging. So there's a crossover there. And the pure, just want a perfect facial shape or features is 15% to 20%.
I think in Asia, whitening is huge, because there is this preconceived notion that if you are fair, you're beautiful. I've also watched this documentary where the women, they inject themselves with some dangerous thing that actually is for whitening, and they go to that extreme extent just to look fair. I don't think this will just fade away. I think it will remain for a good next 50 years, the whitening trend, so to speak.
But I was wondering if this might be a generational thing, because at least for my generation, we don't feel the need to be fair. In fact, like most people would want to go to the beach to get tan, because when you're tan, you look more toned and more clean. So I was just wondering if like the whitening thing might be a generational thing. Yeah, because my grandmother tells me all the time, like, oh, don't go out to the sun, like carry an umbrella. You're gonna get tan, like you're gonna get wrinkles, just get on sunscreen. And my mom as well, like she carries an umbrella everywhere she goes. But like, or at least for
That's
us,
a good weapon as well. If
like
everywhere,
like bring an umbrella, like going to the supermarket, just bring an umbrella. I'm like, Yeah, but for me, I don't see the need to. So it's just like maybe asking you guys if it might be a generational thing.
It's not, I wouldn't use the word generation, it's an age thing. If you're less than 25, you probably haven't experienced a single drop of aging. And you probably haven't had any complications of sun yet, because the body is, the young recover very well, and a lot of the damage that is done to our body, our DNA, doesn't present until a certain age. And we really start to see significant aging from the age of 25 to 45, and it accelerates for a lady from 45 to 55, okay? And this is fact. So if you are going to suffer the repercussions of sun exposure, example, pigmentation and wrinkles, these are direct effects of sun, you won't experience it until you are maybe 32 or 33 after you had the first kid. And then suddenly at that point, you notice you have a big patch here, and then you're like, oh, I need to conceal this. So every morning you spend extra 15 minutes trying to conceal it. And you go online on Shopee to buy 10,000 different creams to lighten this one spot. And eventually you fail everything. Then you went to the doctor, you paid her a lot of money to get rid of that spot. Then after you were never there to suntan in your whole umbrella for the rest of your life. So it's also a generation thing. I think it's just a progression, you know. Once you get hit, you become more careful. And I do agree with Lina, whitening is a very big thing, especially in China and Korea and even Thailand. These big markets, if you just go and watch a Chinese drama, all the girls are fair, you know, all of them look perfect. They don't even have a freckle. They don't have anything. They look perfect. And it's the same for the Korean drama. It's same for Thai drama. You cannot even tell that they're Thai anymore. So I think, again, the fair skin draws a perspective that this person is young and the skin is healthy. It's a bit sad. So like somebody told me before, she has 2 daughters, Indian daughters, right? One is a fair Indian daughter that was like her, I think. And the other daughter is a dark Indian daughter like the dad. And the dark Indian daughter will cry and say, I'm not beautiful, mommy, because I'm not fair. So in all skin types, in all countries, in all nationalities, we see the same quest to become fairer. So I actually agree with Lina that it's probably going to last for another 50 years. And it may not be something that we need to change, except that perspective is important. Like, don't be obsessed with the quest to be something that you cannot be.
Yanni, you mentioned better sunblock. Question is, what is better? There's so many online skincare products. What is your advice on this?
We should ask Lina also. She's reviewed.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, whoever's got advice, I don't. So
first of all, I don't go under the sun, not because of vanity, but because I burn easily and I become red like a lobster. So I can't go under the sun, so I avoid the sun. But I did find, based on reviews, that there's a pretty good super goop sunscreen that one can get from Sephora. So I am actually looking at getting that as well, even though I don't go under the sun. But you know, the UV rays might reach me as well, even though I'm in the shades. But you know, if it's very sunny outside, so that is one aspect that is important as well, to just wear sunscreen when you are out. Yeah, and also I think just to sidetrack a little bit, everything in moderation, and if it works for you personally, and if you can customize it for yourself, then I think it's good enough, because everyone's different. So what might work for me might not work for you. So try to understand yourself a little bit better, and then select beauty products that are suitable for your skin. Doesn't mean that your friend is using something, it's good for you as well. Try it out through trial and error, and then just arrive at something. And if it's really good, stick to it. Just stick to it, and I think that should be fine. Yeah.
Lina. So, public service announcement. There is actually no best sunblock in the world. The sunblock that suits you is the good sunblock. A sunblock that you don't mind applying, you don't complain about, it's not too oily for your skin, not too dry, not too irritating. That's the best sunblock. Now, when you use sunblock, you need to use sufficient amount. So we are talking about 3 pumps or something to cover the entire face. So if you buy something that is too expensive, you may not use enough of it. If you buy something that's too oily, you may not use it much also. So find the product that you like and will use generously. In general, there are so many good sunblocks on the market. As long as they're SPF 30 and above, 30 to 50, PA+++, that's the basic requirements. When we are indoors, we don't get much UVB. Hence, you don't get a sunburn or turn red easily indoors. However, UVA, the sun rays that cause aging, that cause pigmentation, still goes through the window. So you do need to use sunblock indoors as well. If we were left to be with no medical science and let biology be, I think many women will be dead by 35 years old. And many men will also lose their life quite early because of flu and, pneumonia and lack of antibiotics and lack of vaccination. Many things have happened in the last 100 years to keep us alive for longer. And I feel that that's honoring us. Of course, aesthetics will not keep us alive for longer. I definitely not. But the right diet, the right exercise will. So you can always start there, right diet, right exercise. Use your sunblock, because just like you have to use your toothpaste, the fluoride for your teeth, so that the teeth can last longer. You use sunblock and moisturizer for your face so that your skin can last longer, yeah? So that we can age together with things that we love, our skin, our eyesight, our teeth. What is aging if you have damaged skin, which is itching all the time or which is flaking all the time? What is aging if you have no more teeth to eat what you love? What is aging if you cannot see? I mean, aging has to come with quality of life. So I think now we've moved into the next frontier. We know how to honor our biology and live to 85. Now, can we be a good 70, 75, 80, 85? And the answer is that yes, you can. And you will see your dentist, you will see your ophthalmologist or your optician, and you will see your doctor if you need some education and some help to guide you such that you can make the correct decision to age properly.